Most people grow up hearing the same financial advice: work hard, spend less than you earn, and save your money. Put it in the bank, build an emergency fund, be responsible. And for a long time, that advice worked. Saving money meant security, it meant stability, it meant freedom. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Saving money alone is no longer enough. If you're just stacking cash in a savings account and hoping that's your long-term strategy, you're playing a game that has quietly changed. The rules are different now, and if you don't adapt, you fall behind, even if you're doing everything right. Let's start with inflation. Inflation is the silent tax that most people underestimate. When prices rise year after year, the purchasing power of your money shrinks. If inflation averages 3% a year, that might not sound dramatic, but over 10, 20, 30 years, it compounds. The money sitting in your account is slowly losing value. If your savings account gives you 1% interest, but inflation is 3%, you're effectively losing 2% every year. You're not standing still, you're moving back slowly, invisibly, but consistently. And that's the key word, consistently. The second shift is interest rates. Decades ago, savings accounts and bonds offered meaningful returns. You could park money in relatively safe places and still see it grow. Today, traditional savings vehicles often barely keep up with inflation, if that. Banks are designed for safety and liquidity, not wealth building. They're a parking lot, not a growth engine. The third reality is rising living costs. Housing, healthcare, education. These aren't just slightly more expensive than they used to be. In many places, they've outpaced wage growth. Even if you're disciplined and saving diligently, the finish line keeps moving further away. You might feel like you're doing everything right, budgeting, cutting expenses, avoiding lifestyle inflation, yet financial independence still feels distant. That's not because you're failing. It's because the economic environment has shifted. There's also the opportunity cost problem. Every dollar that sits idle is a dollar that isn't working for you. Money can either be static or productive. If it's just sitting in a low interest account, it's static. It's safe, yes, but it's not growing. We've entered an era where capital needs to be active. This doesn't mean gambling on risky assets or chasing every trend. It means understanding that wealth today is built not just by saving, but by investing. There's a fundamental difference. Saving is about preservation. Investing is about multiplication. When you invest, whether in index funds, businesses, real estate, or even your own skills, you're buying assets that have the potential to generate returns. Returns that can compound over time. Compounding is one of the most powerful forces in finance. When your money earns returns and those returns earn returns, growth accelerates. It's not linear, it's exponential. But compounding only works if your money is exposed to growth in the first place. Another major shift is job security. In the past, many people could rely on stable, long-term employment, a steady job, a pension, predictable retirement. Today, careers are more fluid. Industries change quickly. Technology disrupts entire sectors. Relying solely on income from one job while saving a portion of it can be fragile. That's why building assets matters more than ever. Assets create optionality. They generate income streams beyond your paycheck. Dividends, rental income, business profits, royalties, these forms of income are not tied directly to your time. Time is your most limited resource. If all your financial progress depends on trading time for money, there's a ceiling. Saving a portion of that income helps, but it doesn't remove the ceiling. Investing can. There's also a psychological dimension. When your entire strategy is based on cutting expenses and saving more, the focus is scarcity. Spend less. Avoid risk. Don't lose what you have. But wealth building requires a shift toward growth. How can I increase my income? How can I acquire assets? How can my money create more money? Saving teaches discipline, and discipline is essential, but discipline without strategy leads to stagnation. Let's talk about retirement. Many people believe that if they save consistently for decades, they'll be fine. But consider this. People are living longer. Healthcare costs are rising, traditional pensions are disappearing, social safety nets are uncertain in many countries. If your plan is simply to accumulate a fixed pile of cash, that pile has to last longer than ever before. And if it's not growing meaningfully during retirement, it's shrinking in real terms. Investing, on the other hand, allows your money to continue working even after you stop working. And then there's the digital transformation of the economy. Entirely new asset classes have emerged in the past 2 decades. Online businesses, digital products, global index funds accessible with a few clicks. The barrier to entry for investing has never been lower. You don't need to be a Wall Street insider. You don't need millions to start, but you do need financial education. And that's another reason saving alone is no longer enough. The world rewards financial literacy. Those who understand markets, risk, diversification, and long-term thinking have a structural advantage. If you avoid learning and stick to basic saving because it feels safe, you're opting out of that advantage. Now, let's be clear. Saving is still essential. You need an emergency fund. You need liquidity. You need a cushion for unexpected expenses. Saving is your foundation. But a foundation is not the house. Think of your financial life like building a structure. Saving pours the concrete, investing builds the walls, income growth adds new floors, and diversification reinforces the stability. Without investing, you're living on a slab of concrete, waiting for time to pass. Another critical factor is taxation. In many systems, earned income is taxed more heavily than capital gains or investment returns. When all your progress comes from salary and saving, you're playing in the most taxed arena. When you shift toward asset ownership, the tax treatment can be more favorable, depending on your country. Ownership changes the equation. There's also the reality of automation and artificial intelligence. As technology advances, certain jobs become obsolete. Skills lose value faster than before. If your only defense is saving part of your salary, you're exposed to forces beyond your control. But if you invest in your own skills, build side projects, own equity, or participate in growing sectors, you're aligning yourself with change rather than being crushed by it. Saving protects you from emergencies. Investing prepares you for the future. Many people confuse low risk with no risk. Keeping money in cash feels safe because the number doesn't go down. But in real terms, due to inflation, it often does. That's a hidden risk. Real risk isn't volatility. Real risk is the permanent loss of purchasing power. And yes, investing involves fluctuations. Markets go up and down. But historically, diversified long-term investing has outpaced inflation. The key is time horizon and strategy. The biggest mistake isn't taking calculated risk. It's avoiding growth entirely. Let's also talk about mindset. If your entire approach is defensive, you may hesitate to pursue opportunities. Start a business? Too risky. Learn a new skill? Too expensive. Invest in markets? Too volatile. But inaction carries its own cost. The modern economy rewards those who allocate capital wisely, whether that capital is money, time, or energy. Saving is about protecting the past. Investing is about building the future. So what does this mean practically? It means once you've built a solid emergency fund, typically several months of expenses, your focus should gradually shift. Learn about index funds, understand asset allocation, explore retirement accounts, consider ways to increase your earning potential. Maybe that's a side hustle. Maybe it's negotiating your salary. Maybe it's acquiring high-income skills. It also means thinking long-term, not chasing quick profits, not speculating blindly, but building a diversified portfolio aligned with your risk tolerance and goals. It means recognizing that your money is a tool, and tools are meant to be used. In the past, simply being frugal could put you ahead. Today, frugality without growth just keeps you afloat. We are living in an era of rapid change, compounding technology, and global competition. Capital flows faster, opportunities are more accessible, but so are disruptions. If you only save, you're trying to win a modern game with an outdated strategy. The new formula isn't reckless spending, it's intelligent allocation. Save for stability, invest for growth, increase income for acceleration. Those three together create momentum. Because the ultimate goal isn't just to have money sitting somewhere, it's to build freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of choice, freedom from constant financial anxiety, and freedom requires growth. So if you've been proud of yourself for saving diligently, and you should be, see that as step one, not the finish line. The world has changed, the rules have evolved, and your strategy has to evolve with it. Saving money is responsible. Investing money is transformational. If you want to truly move forward in today's economy, your money can't just sit there. It has to work. If this helped you, consider subscribing.